Hello and welcome to Sports Opinion, the weekly sports talk show on Channel 18. That's public access TV. This is a very special edition of Sports Opinion. It's kind of become a tradition the day before Thanksgiving to have Marv Cook, the head coach for football at the Iowa City Regina High School. Marv, just amazing. First off, welcome back.
Great to be here.
3 years in a row. We see the hardware up front. The back-to-back undefeated state champion, Regina Regals. It's been quite a ride, and I know that all of us here on Sports Opinion have, if we haven't been to every game, we've listened on the radio or followed online and really enjoyed the heck out of this season. I'm just going to brag on Marv a little bit before we go too much further. 42 straight wins and counting. That's amazing. But Marv himself, former All-Stater, former All-American, two-time All-Pro player in the NFL, now a three-time state champion coach. Guys, did you know his record as a head coach is 73-5? That is something. In 6 seasons, mind you.
What happened in those 5 games?
I remember every single one.
Yes, you do.
Every single minute.
Well, and Sullivan had something to do with a few of those.
Yeah,
5.
that's right.
But you've had an opportunity the last few years to make up for that and then some. I think one of the things that doesn't get mentioned a lot, Marv, is that you became head coach without any prior coaching experience anywhere other than youth leagues and things like that.
Yeah, and I think that was the greatest experience I ever had. Coaching youth girls softball was my nerves and organizational skills when you get kids swinging baseball bats and softball bats. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously the transition from a player. When I was a player, I actually kind of mentored some younger guys. Ben Coates was a tight end that came in as a rookie. And Charlie Weiss and the staff at New England, Bill Parcells, asked me to kind of mentor him for that year, and so I kind of took that role as kind of a player coach to some extent, and took a lot of pride in that and helped him develop, and ultimately too good that he ended up taking my position. And but that's kind of the way the NFL works, to be honest with you.
Well, and that's really the way the business world can work too. Is you train the underlings to do your job and hopefully do it better.
That's what happens.
It's a sign of a good teacher.
But getting back, I mean, yeah, so my youth experience, and then Chet did take a little bit of a flyer on me to give me a chance and the opportunity to represent a community that I've been a part of, my family's been a part of, my kids, 3 kids go to school there, and it was a little bit of a leap of faith, but fortunately for me, I came in with the idea that I knew I needed to hire or get good people around me to help me out and get it accomplished the way we want to get it accomplished, and fortunately it's worked out the way we wanted to.
Well, that's an understatement. You've got just an incredible coaching staff. I think I've said it to you and to these guys here on the show this season. This, in my mind, is the best coaching job you and your staff have done. The numbers are down at Regina. You've dropped a class in the state, and yet you still have accomplished more with less. That's something that most coaches can't do.
Well, I think the numbers are down, but the quality was as good, and I think you're going to find out today, and I'm glad that we're going to give a platform to some of the student athletes at Regina today, and I thank you for that. But as you get to know these guys, you start to realize how great a young men they are, and not just representing themselves, their family, but the Regina community, and then as a football player. So very, very fortunate to have the quality that we did have. But it all works together, and none of those wins, I know those games, the players won them all, and they had to make plays. And fortunately for us this year, we try to put the guys in position to make plays, and when we did, they sure dialed it up and got it done for us. So it was a fun year from that standpoint.
You said something earlier this week about the difference that your coaches make at halftime with adjustments. I think unlike the last 2 championship seasons, you found yourself in the playoffs especially, and not just the playoffs, but some regular season games, where you guys were either be halftime or tied or maybe just a little too close for comfort, and then you come out in the second half, and your players executed the plan the coaches laid out for them to achieve the success they did?
Yeah, well, I mean, in the state of Iowa, I think we're truly blessed to have great coaches across the board, especially on the eastern Iowa part, and then across the state as far as that goes. But we see Kevin Miller, we see Butch Peterson, we see some great coaching staffs, and they really test you, and they know what you're trying to do. We're a zone running team by nature. Good teams know that, and they're going to try to take that away from you. So you have to be willing and flexible to come back and come with some misdirection, come with some trap. Some power, some stuff like that to try to keep them off balance, and so that's what we saw a little bit in some of the semifinals and the finals. St. Albert's actually gave us a unique coverage, very similar to kind of what we run, which is somewhat complex for high school, but it's if you read it out right and you're willing to make the right decision, you can have some success. They changed it up a little bit against us than the way they had it. So at halftime, Mark and Mike made some adjustments, and Mike Seal. Mike Donovan, and we've got it figured out, and we were able to make a lot of plays in the second half to help our offense. So that's ultimately a tribute to the kids. Another perfect example is we had a 4th down and 18 in the semifinal game, and Ed and I were looking for an answer as far as what play to run, and Mark Ward came with a solution, and as soon as he said it, I knew it was a great opportunity for us to be successful, and they went out and they executed. He hit Alex Balke for a 20-yard reception, and
hooray for Mark!
That's right. It's touchdown.
And Alex,
But that kind of feedback from players, when you get that kind of feedback and they know how we're trying to attack a defense, was very, very beneficial for us.
it's been just unreal to see some of the big plays that these kids pulled off. But like you talked, execution. There's something I think too that goes unsaid often about Regina, and that's the education you get there. I know that even the elementary school kids come home with a lot of homework. They get worked over pretty good by the teacher. Good way. And you got to be a smart kid to go to Regina. And you've got a lot of smart guys on your team because they obviously know how to follow instructions and execute.
Well, I mean, you know, we think athletics is a privilege. It's not a right necessarily. You need to earn that right to, one, by representing our school as a student and as a person. And then once you do have the right, you got to take advantage of it. So we do believe in the student-athlete element first. And, you know, getting back to the halftime element, we're all, Father Rudy does a great job, comes down and speaks to the team at halftime, and I think he does a good job of taking can be somewhat emotional, somewhat, nerve-wracking to some extent. He brings a focus to the team and to the coaches, and it gives the coaches an extra 3 or 4 minutes to, you know, kind of make those adjustments, and then we kind of circle back with the players, and then, you know, make those suggestions, and the players, like I said, ultimately take the ownership and get it done for us.
When you were an All-American tight end at Iowa, did you have somebody like a Father Rudy to cut time and calm people down?
Hayden Fry. Hayden was the guy. Hayden was the guy that he could lock you in real quick if you were overconfident or underconfident. He had a great knack of kind of knowing what the mood of the team was and addressing us and getting us refocused. He was brilliant.
Yeah.
With that.
Well, now you've got a number of assistant coaches that have worked with you since you got there 6 years ago. Let's talk about those assistants and tell us a little bit about what their responsibilities.
Yeah, well, Coach Jason Dumont is the associate head coach, defensive coordinator.
Former Hawkeye football player.
Yep, and just a great young man, family man, also has Regina ties with kids at Regina. You know, first of all, just a great person and a very intense coach, but is just, you know, phenomenal as far as helping with the facilities. He's always upgrading our weight room, our wrestling rooms, the training room. He works a lot of times on that. He spends a lot of time on our football. So it's truly a guy that, you know, I don't know what I would do. He's on my speed dial, so if I ever have an issue, I call him right away. But he's been phenomenal heading up the defense. We also have Mike Brinkman, who played at UNI with Coach Farley. Also went to Western Illinois, but a defensive line coach that is a brilliant teacher and educator and coach of the game, and takes a lot of passion, high energy guy, big sugar guy. I think he gives a lot of sugar out, you know, but a brilliant coach, and they work extremely well together. We've got a guy, well, obviously Ed Hinkle, the offensive coordinator. Everybody knows Ed. And
Former Hawkeye wide receiver.
What he's been able to accomplish with the quarterbacks the last 3 years. We've had 3 different quarterbacks the last 3 seasons in the 3 state championships, and the statistics that they've been able to compile over those 3 years it's amazing. So it's fun to watch the way he coaches our guys. And then obviously Alex Canela, our offensive line coach and our strength coach, is I mean you can't say enough. I mean, one, these kids are growing so much in 18, 16, 17 years of age, but when you get a strength coach, just I call him like a player development coach, because he's helping them just mentally as well as physically, and to see the strength and the physical fitness that they're able to put on, and then the way he teaches our offensive line with their technique and the running game and the passing game is second to none. So we're blessed there. I brought in my former coach, Tom Nosbish, who I think has the toughest job in the world. He has to teach our receivers and tight ends how to catch the ball in front of Ed Hinkle and myself. One of the things we wanted to do is we wanted to give the receivers more individual time and let Ed have more time with the quarterbacks. And so, probably 10, 15, 20 minutes a day, we'd send them off and let them work with the receivers. And I think our receivers had a phenomenal year. One of the most dynamic years as far as receptions and TDs that we've had in a lot of years. So, and then Kyle Stoner works with our defensive group with our JV. Andy Gann also works with our young quarterbacks in the fresh soft level. We all work together. Almost two varsity guys been out and help with the JV, and JV guys come up and help and kind of step on toes a little bit. But it all works in the end, because I think ultimately we all have the same mission. That's to just help develop the young players and get them ready for varsity. And so Andy Gann does a brilliant job with our young quarterbacks, stressing them.
He's also the head baseball coach.
That's correct.
Yeah.
One of the things we try to do, which is going to sound kind of, I don't know, mean or something, but one of the things we know what kids can do sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes we want to see what they can't do, so we try to put them in positions that'll stress them a little bit in game settings, especially when they're younger. And I think Andy does a brilliant job of that. And then we find out they're able to expand and grow as players because of that. We also have Chris Gilstrap, who's been with us all 6 years, a defensive line, offensive line coach that is really, the last 2 years, has locked our younger guys down in the offensive and defensive line area and done a great job helping us there. We've also brought in a former Regina Regal, Adam Martinson, who, when I first took the job, I started watching film, was the one guy that always was showing apes as like, this guy can play, this guy gets after it, this guy knows how to do it. And I loved his mindset, so we wanted to get him involved in Regina, so we brought him back as well. So you guys think of anybody I'm missing?
Well, one guy you mentioned was Alex Canela, former West High All-Stater, two-time All-Stater, former West High state wrestling champ.
I'm going to say, though, he started at Regina, by the way, though.
And yes, I read that. He got his wrestling start. I don't know if these guys know it, but at Regina, youth wrestling, which is pretty impressive, kind of the life cycle. It all comes back around, guys. The older you are, the more you find out about this stuff. Alex doesn't just work with the high school kids. He doesn't just work with the boys. He works with the little kids, too, the elementary kids, like my son, Paul, who likes to participate each summer in the strength and speed training sessions that Coach Canela and a host of other coaches from the university, current athletes at the university. He's got girls and boys out there, and he treats them so well. He's so reinforcing. He gives them, he instills in them the belief that they can do it and do more the next time. And I just think that's really somebody special.
Yeah, he's second to none, and like I said, that's a perfect example. Is at that age, I mean, it's hard to chew gum and do some of the things high school kids are doing, but a lot of it's just body weight stuff. With the PVC tubing, and they're just doing a lot, lunges and squats with just a PVC pipe. So
yeah.
But all that helps developmentally. So then when they do get to high school, now they can actually put a bar on there with some weights, and their technique is perfect, and they're going to be in a good position when they're doing it. So, and as you mentioned, a great young man, a great mentor. That's someone that, like I said, when my son goes in or my kids go in to work underneath him, I have 100% confidence, and I'm very, very pleased and blessed that he's there and working with him. So.
And I don't know if I mentioned, but Alex was also a Hawkeye offensive lineman until some concussion issues short-tracked his career. But it makes for just a real interesting stew of coaches from different walks of life, whether they're Hawkeyes or Panthers, legends from Texas, you name it. You've had a lot of good people come in and support you and the direction that you've given the football program at Regina. I don't think we can talk about any of this, though, without also mentioning Coach Evans, who came before you.
Yeah.
He won the first state championship and really laid the foundation for you.
Yeah, we actually, Fritz Wagner, one of our seniors, actually wrote a great article on the history of Regina football.
Really?
It was just in the last Regina newspaper, so if you get a chance to, it's the Regina Spectrum, right?
Yeah.
Brilliant article on the history of it. and went back and really studied it and put it all together. And kind of, what people don't understand is there was about a 20-year stretch. They had a brutal schedule. They were playing a lot of the big schools up in Cedar Rapids, and
These guys here now.
yeah, and it was a difficult stretch. So, and then once district play and conference play changed, then that's kind of when they started to get their traction a little bit. Coach Mark Mitchell came in and did a good job. And then Kevin Miller came in for a year or two, and then Coach Evans came in, as you mentioned, his staff, and then took them to that 2005, I think it was, state championship game. So,
well, it's all been pretty special, and I don't know if you guys have any for Marv before we bring some of the seniors up. Bud, Earl.
Well, we should also mention that Marv was it your first or second team played in the state finals.
yeah,
Right,
the first year I
Yeah.
coached, we went to and played in the finals against St. Albert's and lost 7-6. So that was
Yeah.
one of the
Oh, yeah.
five. So it was I
Yeah.
was very, very pleased that these seniors able to kind of get some payback a little bit for it. So.
Right.
You didn't mention that to the guys before the game, did you?
I think some of the other
Bud, you've been to just a Regina game this year, like usual, home and away. Thoughts?
Great entertainment.
Yeah.
Sure took off the pressure from Iowa.
Well, Bud mentions entertainment. It really has been entertaining. Whether they're close games or blowouts, it's just been really a ton of fun to watch you guys play football. The way you guys execute, the play calling. You look at the Regina team, whether it's offense or defense, and you see a disciplined, smart group of players out there that know how to follow the instructions the coaches give them.
Everybody talks about how fundamentally sound they are in offense and defense, and that and that's coaching, Marv, from your staff, and obviously the kids have to be disciplined and execute, like you said, Dirk.
Yeah.
But fundamentally sound, yeah, for sure.
Well, we spend probably, I'd say 40 to 60 minutes a day on individuals or small groups, working a lot of that stuff. Ultimately it does come down to the players, and the players have got to be the ones that go out next to you. You can tell them until you're blue in the face, but I think our coaches do a good job of finding different ways to communicate it to them to make sure it does stick and that they're able to go out and execute it. But it's all hopefully, knock on wood, we'll keep it going.
Yeah.
Well, what I notice is how well your staff gets along. Your
Yeah.
staff are
You don't see the meetings behind the doors, but and that's
But
one thing.
really, when
Honestly,
they come out in the field, they're all neat people.
honestly, one thing we get in rooms and we have heated discussions, and we truly say what we feel, and we have that freedom to do that. And when we walk out, this is the way Regina's going to do it, and we're all on the same page. And so we are blessed from that standpoint. I'm smart enough to realize, though, that I'm going to defer to most of these guys because they are top notch in their areas of expertise, and so I'm going to defer when they have a strong suggestion. So,
Well, good leaders know how to surround themselves with good people, and that with your coaches and with your players. And we want to bring in a few of the seniors. We've got 6 of them here today, and I think I'd like to start out. We'll have Marv bring in Mark Ward and Matt Streb, quarterback and wide receiver, among other positions. Come on in here, guys. Quick as you can. Quick as you can. We'll make room here. Welcome to Sports Opinion.
Thank you.
Okay, Mark, Matt, right there. These are the guys that hooked up for some of the best plays that I think I've ever seen in high school. Just unreal. I'm trying to think of the game, the 98-yard pass play. Who was that?
Dakota Valley?
Thank you. Makokata Valley. I happened to be down near the field at the south end where that play came. And it was just unbelievable, guys. You broke the record that you set. Was it 96 yards? The former record?
That was actually Mike Donovan.
Yeah.
Oh, it was.
Oh,
You,
The
Matt?
97 was
You got
Mike
97.
Donovan. 98.
You were the
Broke it by
98, though.
one.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, well,
1 yard.
records are made to be broken. So, Mark, you got to start one season. Doesn't mean you didn't play before that, but you got to start one season like the predecessors before you. Talk about how Coach got you prepared for your senior season at quarterback.
It's just the work that you learn from the guys before you, like Nate Strev and Jack. They were both all-state quarterbacks, and so just learning from them and
Jack Verducci.
yes,
Yeah.
and then just absorbing as much as you can, and then just following the instructions that Coach can give to you.
Yeah. And what about this guy next to you? How did he help you?
He's a dynamic player. You give him the ball in space, you give him the ball over the top, he'll do good things with the ball. both the receivers, all the guys on the team, they're playmakers.
Now,
So,
have you two been to school together since kindergarten, first grade?
yeah.
Yeah, Mark actually lived down the street from me too. So.
Is that right?
Yep.
Now, as little kids, did you play football outside?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just about every weekend.
Yeah?
probably.
Where would you play?
We played in a barnyard that was my grandpa's right down the road, so we'd usually play some pickup games there.
Are you the last of the Straps, or you got more coming up?
At Regina, I'm the last.
Yeah.
But I got some other younger
But
cousins.
you got a lot of relatives here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You could have 2 teams with your
Wait a minute.
relatives.
You're related to the Jensens. I'm so sorry. No, just kidding.
I can tell you a quick story.
Yeah.
Matt in the semifinal game, most dynamic touchdowns I've seen in probably 6 years of watching high school football, where Mark threw a ball late to the back shoulder, and Matt made an unbelievable adjustment. I don't know if you remember, was almost going out of bounds, dove, got the ball across the pylon, and scored a huge touchdown for us in the quarters. And then in the finals, we were down 14-7, and Mark, we called a play that I really wanted, and we did exactly what we were supposed to do. And Mark did something I told him to never do. Tells you how good of a coach I am, but he actually across the field, and
Across
Matt was
the
wide
field,
open.
across the body.
But huge plays, and it's.
It was a game changer.
It really was. I mean,
Yeah.
We had a chance to, going down at half, and that brought us back to even, and I mean, it's what I can't say enough about. Players got to. I mean, the players win that. So that's what it's all about. So, and just Matt is, as Mark said, he's a very dynamic guy with the ball, and part of our offense is to, don't take this the wrong way, Mark, but get the ball in the quarterback's hands, get the ball in the athlete's hands. As quick as possible and let them make plays with it. So, and these two guys do a great job of that.
Well,
Mark,
go ahead, Earl.
how many yards can you throw a football?
Total this year?
No, how far?
How far?
How far?
On the fly. How many yards?
They used to have
I don't really
a football throw in track in
high school,
high
yeah.
school.
Probably around like 60.
And that's pretty good.
Oh,
That's impressive. Now, small high school football here, so you guys don't just play one position. You play offense and defense, special teams. You do it all. Mark, what'd you do on defense? What position?
I was a safety, so I really didn't have to do all that much. But I just kind of the last line of defense. Let the other guys do all the dirty work, I guess.
Yeah?
But yeah, I was back there in pass defense and come up and make plays if they got to me.
Matt?
Yeah, my role was pretty similar. I played cornerback, so if we had to defend a pass, but usually guys like Dan Gaffey and Mike Donovan are cleaning it up down
They
there.
sure
They did a
did.
good job.
Now, let's talk about some of the opponents you faced. Who offered the greatest challenge? Not necessarily who was the best team, but who presented the greatest challenge to Regina this year?
I think you have to kind of go to the West Branch games, both the first one and the second one. They're a great football team. They got a great tradition. So just kind of everything that goes with the game, it's a great atmosphere anytime you're going to play West Branch, and they're always going to bring it to you. So those were some great games. Then down the playoffs, down the stretch. And so those are always going to be great games. When you get into the Dome, you're going to play great teams.
Mark, where you got any offers from schools?
No, I have no offers from schools.
Okay.
Matt, how about you? Who presented you the greatest challenge this season?
I think from a speed standpoint for my position,
Yep.
I'd have to go with the championship game in St.
Yep.
Albert. They had a great athletes, but he's right. West Branch is a pretty tough team.
Was St. Albert's the fastest team,
Oh yeah, for sure.
without a doubt?
I knew when we saw them on film they were going to be the fastest team by far. So, and it showed early on.
Who was the most physical team that you faced?
I'd probably have to go with St. Albert or West Branch as well.
What about Dyke New Hartford?
They were a good team.
Yeah, they had some physical linebackers.
They looked like they were bringing the wood,
Yeah, they hit.
and then you guys laid the wood right back on them. That game, from a standpoint, was so physical and at times brutal, and nobody on Regina backed down. I didn't see Dyke New Hartford back down either, but I think you, as a team, you broke their will in the second half.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah. So, guys, you're both seniors. What's next after high school?
After high school, I'm just figuring out where we're going to go next year.
Yeah.
I don't think either of us really know at this point.
Basketball?
Basketball, we're going to both get in, I think. So.
Yeah.
Have you started practice?
I'm taking a little bit of a break since football.
You deserve it.
Recuperating, and then we'll get into basketball probably late this week or Monday morning.
When's the first boys game?
I actually don't know.
No?
1st of December.
Oh, it is? Okay. It's Thanksgiving time here, so I thought I'd ask both of you, what are you thankful for, guys?
I think you have to be thankful for everything that you've been given. Being born in a good situation, and then I've got to be thankful for all the friends and family. Being able to have the opportunity to go out and compete and go to a good Catholic institution, be able to compete and grow up with the guys like this.
How about that?
Yeah, we actually
That's good.
we do a Christmas basket project, the seniors, where they help needy families every year. And this morning we went to visit one of the families, and that was a pretty good thing to do this time of year because feeling pretty thankful right now. after
Opens
that
your
visit.
eyes, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Good for you
sure.
guys.
Yeah,
For sure.
that's great. Well, I want to thank you for being here to bring a couple more
I
teammates.
gotta
And
let
Marv,
Matt give one little quick shout out to your
Please.
small ball website. So,
Oh yeah.
Let's hear it.
are you one of the co-founders, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell us more about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, it's something we usually play in the off season. Just
I'm not a
for
big
fun.
fan of it, by the way.
We play it for fun in the off season. I think it helps a little bit, but
What's it called?
small ball.
You can look it up, Small Ball Nation, all one word on YouTube.
I've read about this.
You've got some sweet videos, so check them out.
Small Ball Nation, huh?
All right, check it out.
Well, again, congratulations on
Thank
your
you.
third straight state championship, back-to-back-to-back undefeated seasons. That doesn't happen very often. Cherish it, guys, and thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to bring on Mike Donovan and Ben Oosterhuis next. Mike Donovan and Ben, is it Osterhaus or Oosterhaus? Osterhaus. Okay, come on in here, guys. Come on in here.
Is that the Donovan of that famous family?
yes, that is.
Yeah, all right, Mike.
Marv, you want to tell us a little bit about these young men?
First of all, just two more great young men at Regina, and two guys that have done a great job of representing everything we want to stand for and everything they're trying to do, whether it's academically or athletically. Mike is a coach's dream in that he'll do whatever you ask him. Catches the ball, run the ball, block. He can probably throw it too, but he kick for us. He can punt. And came up huge in the state championship game. Had over 100 yards receiving. Had an interception that
Big defense.
turned the field position for us in the second half. And just a great football player. But Ben Oosterhuis, the guy that came in last year, hadn't started for us until the quarterfinal game against Mediapolis. Had to come in and start right guard for us, and we didn't miss a beat. Just came in there and slammed it away and got after it, and then started in the semifinals as well. And it was exciting for us to see him after the season kind of take some ownership and leadership. He's not a very vocal guy, but just a quiet, strong leader, and always there setting a great example for all the younger players. And when you see guys like Ben, you start to realize, hey, we got a pretty good chance to be pretty good when you have guys like this leading your football team. So ended up being a great offensive lineman for us, defensive tackle, and helped lead his team to a state championship. So Ben,
Tell us what it feels like to complete the third straight undefeated back-to-back state championship.
This year's just been like a dream, Like people have been saying since we saw the 2005 team win that championship. That's always been our goal, and we've always been talking about it our entire junior high and early high school is how we're going to do it. And then just to finally get it done, it just feels amazing.
So you started at Regina as a kindergartner?
Yeah, I've gone there since preschool actually.
You mentioned the 2005 state championship team.
Yeah.
You guys would have been fifth grade?
Ooh,
Yeah, I think sometime around there.
I'd like you to talk about what it was like to be a fifth grader and see that first state championship, what it meant to you then, who some of the players are that you remember, what stood out. Tell us about it.
I'd say the one thing I remember is that the semifinal game, I think they were playing Dyke New Hartford too, and they had that long Hail Mary touchdown pass from Bothell to Murray.
Yeah.
And that play will always be in my head forever.
Same here.
Yeah.
People all
Coming
remember
clear
that
across
one.
the outside from one side to the other.
And
That it's supposed to be for him.
I just remember how crazy that game was, and then after state, seeing them carry that trophy off the field, just
So you were at the game.
I was at both games, and
Who'd you go with?
just my parents and
Yeah.
a bunch of friends,
Yeah.
Is it something forever?
Yeah, for sure. It'll be one of those moments that'll make this year even sweeter.
Daniel Murray didn't do too bad at Iowa, did he?
Yeah, I know he was a pretty good kicker, and
Yeah.
that Penn State game really got his name
Oh,
on the ball.
man.
We had him on the show, just like we're doing today,
Yeah.
with the state championship trophy, and talking about what he wanted to do with something like nuclear medicine or something. Smart kid.
Yeah.
Mike, I think you saved the best for last. Not that you didn't accomplish an awful lot in your high school career, but as coach had the state championship game, you stood up and
Yeah, well, it just kind of hit me hard that it was going to be my last football game, especially at Regina, and it's been such a great season. And I knew we'd all have to have our best game if we wanted to win that third title, and I think everybody on the team played great. And I just happened to have one of my best games, and I'm thankful for that because, I mean, I just put everything I had in that game, and it turned out perfect, so couldn't ask for more.
I noticed the closer they got to the goal, the more you got the ball, Mike.
Yeah, thank the coaches for that. Means a lot knowing that they
He's
can
got
trust
our
me.
scouting report. Way to go.
tell me a little bit about, tell us something about Coach Cook that we don't know.
He's,
Careful, Mike. Careful.
at practice, if he sees you like messing up on a play, he does a good job of slowing down practice and making sure he talks you through it and knowing you know what you did and then you fix it. So, I don't know, going into games, everybody on the team has great confidence knowing that they can do what they have to help the team out and win, and he just does a great job focusing on every individual and making sure they're ready to go come game day.
That's really spoken well. Ben, tell us about halftime of these games, especially in the state tournament. What was going on at halftime with all the adjustments, all the coaches? You only get so much time. What do you get at halftime? Is it 15 or 20?
17.
That's it. Talk about halftime.
Well, I think the coaches first off did a great job, and they never made us panic. You know, they'd always keep it calm and make sure we were just like talking over and try to keep everyone focused on the game, just get the checks in and the new plays we're going to run. So we were never really panicking any of those games that we were losing or tied. We just knew that there was plenty of stuff that we had to fix, and we could be able to do it in the second half.
And you did.
Yep.
Each and every time.
Mm-hmm.
There aren't many teams that can say that.
Yeah.
That's right.
42 straight. I mentioned this off camera before we started the show, but just before we shot the program today, I ran into a former Regina Regal, Mark Gannon, who was a member of the 3-time state title winning basketball team at Regina. And he wanted me to pass along a message to you, all you seniors, and Coach Cook, that he can't thank you enough for what you've accomplished for the school. Someday you're going to reach it means to the parents of the kids at Regina, to the alumni like these guys here. It means a lot. Your coach and your players, your teammates have really revitalized a program, and you've woken the beast. I looked at the crowd at the game. I looked at the Regina crowd at the state championship game, and I looked at St. Albert's crowd, and I hate to say this, but I felt sorry for St. Albert's. You know, there weren't that many. It's a longer way to go.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just old hat for them. That was the 7th time in the last 10 years that St. Albert's had been in the state championship game.
Wow.
It's amazing. But you guys accomplished an awful lot, and we appreciate it. Really do.
And I believe they also have 4 titles in that 10 years.
Oh, I think that's exactly right. 4 titles. Ben, what's next after football?
Probably going to go to college and major in business. I don't know exactly where
Yeah.
at yet, though, but somewhere in the Midwest.
Good for you.
Yeah.
What about you, Mike?
Thinking about attending a 4-year university. Don't know what I'm studying yet. I have to look into that now that football's over and get started on that.
Well, I hope you both enjoy your senior year. Don't be in a hurry to get through high school. It doesn't last long enough. You'll find out someday. And the time you spent with Coach Cook and the other coaches, I guarantee you didn't last long enough. I know you're going to take a lot of what they taught you to heart, and hope you can pass that along to the kids that come after you. Okay? We're going to thank you for being on. We got 2 more
Basketball?
kids.
Yep.
No basketball.
Basketball?
Yeah, I'll start basketball next week.
Oh, good.
Good.
Next is Alex O'Brien and Alex Bakke. Joe, how we doing on time, my friend?
no idea.
Let me check here.
Okay.
It's we've got about. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Joe Bakke here and Alex O'Brien there. Guys, tell us when you started at Regina. Alex Bakke,
I've been here ever since kindergarten.
kindergarten. Alex O'Brien,
Preschool.
preschool.
Yeah.
All right.
room. Yeah.
What about all these rumors that Regina recruits? I mean, all I hear is kids that started in preschool and kindergarten. Where are all the recruits? Tell me. Are they just didn't show up today? Is that it? Okay.
Well, I'd say about 90% of our starters have been here, have grown up with me since kindergarten at least, and then a couple came, in 6th grade, but
Did you feed them hamburgers?
lots of them. McDonald's.
Oh, he's never heard that joke before. Alex O'Brien,
Yeah.
tell us what it's like to spend all that time, all these years with your classmates and accomplish so much in the last 3 years.
No, it feels awesome. Being present for the 2 state championships before us, it's just like we saw the hard work they put in, and they were just a great example to us. So, after we hoisted that trophy up, it's like it's a relief. All this hard work and everything it's finally coming into play. So.
All right, now we talked earlier about what it was like when you all were 5th graders to see that state championship team. I've got a 6th grader who's playing football at Regina. If you had words of wisdom to impart upon him, what would you tell Paul Keller?
Go see Canelas as soon as you can. Yeah, get
Yeah,
that weight
I've already
room
spent a
in.
couple of summers with him.
Yeah, definitely. But other than that, just
What about Coach Canales? You mentioned him. Why?
Yeah. Well, I think he deals with pretty much our entire high school, and I think he gains an awesome personal relationship with every student he has, and he knows your limits and he pushes you past those. So I think it's been one of my best experiences in high school. So.
Really? That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Alex Bakke, you've had some of the biggest plays on offense this season, last season. In fact, I want to brag on you a little bit.
Well, there's certain things you can't coach. That's size and speed, and Alex actually fits the bill on both those. And it's as an offensive play caller, it's dynamic to have a big athletic receiver, and we've always cherished those when you get them. And what it does is it forces a defense to basically decide whether you're going to go one-on-one or you're going to slide another defender out of the box or another safety over the top and to help. And if they do that, now they're vulnerable other places. So great mismatches on offense, and as you mentioned, dynamic playmaker. And we had a 3rd and 19 or 3rd and 17, and the 4th down play was one that we talked about. But then in the state championship game, we had a 3rd and 17, and Ed again is, I'm thinking the only thing I make is just try to get Alex one-on-one and take a shot, and that's what Coach Hinkle called, and they made a play down the right side, and Alex made the catch. We got a 1st down and ended up going and getting points. So
What'd you think, Alex, when they made that call in the huddle? No doubt in your mind?
I'm still nervous because it's the middle of the game or whatever, but it's like I remember Mark just felt like Mark just held onto the ball forever, and then once he threw it, I felt like that it was in the air forever, and it was never going to come down.
It looked like that to the fans too. Let me tell you, that ball was up there. Are you going to play basketball?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about after high school?
After high school, I want to play track or play football somewhere. But
What events in track do you appreciate?
I'm a sprinter and I throw some discus and yeah.
Wow. So we talked about Coach Canales.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Bakke, tell us something about Coach Canales we don't know and really ought to.
I think he's just a great teacher of how to lift, and he knows how to push people to work hard, and he tries to tell them that you don't really have many of these high school days of where you're young and your body's still good and you can work hard and be fine the next day and just I don't know, just good at encouraging people to work hard.
Yeah.
Alex Bakke, what would you say to the 5th and 6th graders out there playing football for Regina now?
I'd tell all the 5thers to work hard and enjoy every moment of football and all your sports and as a young kid, because it gets tough in high school, but you always got to remember that it's supposed to be fun first, and that's why you play sports, because they're fun, and never take yourself too seriously.
Good advice. Alex O'Brien, favorite memory from Regina, whether it's football or classroom, favorite memory while at Regina?
Memory. After we won the state championship games, Marv came into the locker room and gave us a speech, and he just said, just because you won the state championship, don't let that define who you are and where your life goes after this. And I think that kind of sounded pretty strong for me anyway. And so that's probably my favorite memory. Definitely left the biggest impact on me. So
That's impressive.
I got to tell you, we had a reception Sunday, and it was one of the most kind of one of the reasons I want to get into coaching, to be honest with you, because I said that probably a year or two ago, and Alex remembered it. And what I mean by that is, don't let the state championship define who you are. Let all the characteristics and traits that you had to use to get that define who you are going forward. Because ultimately, I know a lot of these guys are going to go on and do something besides football, and I'm excited when I hear Alex say stuff like that, because I know he's going to take all the hard work, all the dedication, the commitment, the sacrifice used with his teammates to go on and be successful in whatever he chooses, and that's why I'm ecstatic about this senior class. I mean, I wish I would have had him say this stuff before the season. I'd have felt a lot more comfortable in week 1 or 2. But when I heard that in week 14, 15, I mean, it was just it just sent shivers down me, and I was like, oh, that's why I do this.
I know Alex's grandfather and grandmother.
Yeah.
And they were wonderful people.
Bill and Dorothy O'Brien.
Yep.
Yep.
Still up at the front counter there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the
Good
days.
people. Alex, what are you going to do next year? Do you know?
Just as Mikey said, I'm going to attend a 4-year college and hopefully carry after my dad and
Sure.
major in business. So
Good.
I don't know about McDonald's, but maybe something,
Well,
something entrepreneurial.
Your dad knows a little something about running
Yes,
business.
he
It won't
does.
be a
He
Wendy's,
does.
right?
No, I'm not competing with him.
Alex and Alex, let's talk about lead.
What's the sled?
Tell the viewers what the sled is.
Well, the sled's a 60-pound weight sled that you strap up to and walk around the parking lot with, and put some plates on there. And Canela makes you do the big lap all the way around the parking lot. I don't know, it's probably like 300 meters, 350, I don't know. And, yeah, and it's on a hot summer day, it's pretty tough, and it challenges you mentally, I guess.
Yeah. Seeing the reactions of people that drive in the parking lot and just watch what you're doing is pretty funny.
I saw you guys out there every morning. I
Yep.
took Paul to strength and speed training,
Yeah.
and I think it left an impression on him a couple of years ago when he started.
What exactly is it?
It's just, it's like a, I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like a,
It's like a harness. They have
Okay.
a harness, and then they got to drag it or pull it
yeah.
around. It's a sled, and you can
Oh,
pack
okay.
plates on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know, Marv, you've talked about how hard and how much time the team puts into practice, maybe a little more than other 1A teams.
Well, and you never know what's going on outside. You can only kind of attest to what's going on inside, and that's why, I mean, that's, for me, I just know how hard these guys have worked. And as a player, I think you go in with complete confidence when you can honestly say, I don't think the guy across from me has worked any harder this offseason or the last 2 or 3 years. And I think Coach Canela and our student athletes put themselves in that position where they can have utmost confidence going into a game. And then ultimately, the great thing is you can have peace of mind knowing that the outcome, whatever the outcome is, you've done everything you possibly can to be successful. And at that point, you don't lose. You may not win the game, but you don't lose as long as you've kind of had that preparation.
Did you sense, Marv and Alex, both Alexes, did you sense against any of the state playoff competitors that they didn't work as hard as we did? Could you see it? Could you feel it when you're on the field?
I think high school football is the purest form of football.
Yep. Sure is.
I think every kid that plays it is 100% dedicated to it. I feel fortunate that we have the platforms in place at Regina with the weight room, with the leadership, with guys getting the kids there in the summer. So I mean, I think everybody works hard. It's just you also have to work smart, and so I think ultimately our players do that, and it gives us we think a competitive advantage from that standpoint. But it's through the hard work, it's through the time, it's through the Coach Canela's. That's our advantage, and that's the only advantage we have over other schools.
Well, and you have a Regina family, Marv, that a lot of great parents, a lot of great teachers that really buy into what is trying to be accomplished out there, Regina.
I'll be honest with you, it's a lot like Iowa. At Iowa, you didn't get anything until you actually went to a bowl game, and then you start getting some gifts. Well, at Regina, if you make the playoffs, then the parents start giving you gifts in the locker room and stuff. And it's almost it's one of those motivational factors that you want to play really hard and qualify for the playoffs, so you get that good stuff.
Yeah.
Did you boys know the difference from the outdoors, from going into the dome?
Oh, it was definitely noticeable. I mean, the humidity in the dome compared to 30-degree temperature when we played
What about the
West
turf?
Branch. And
I hate the turf.
Okay.
It's like,
It looks slippery.
yeah, well, yeah, it's like you don't always dig in the best, and then like if you fall, you're gonna get scraped up every time.
Okay.
So that's no fun.
The turf wasn't in too good a shape, I didn't think.
It didn't look it. Marv, you mentioned the weight room. You had some help with that weight room.
We did. Yes,
Alex, Dad.
that's correct.
There are a lot of people like Kevin O'Brien behind the scenes who are helping out. Tell us some other contributors who made a difference.
I mean, obviously, it's everybody. It's Ted Page has been a great resource for us. Jason Dumont and his family, his wife, have been very, very good to us. And so, I mean, it's a community effort. Jeff Loringer stepped up and contributed through the gala, and his son came out and was an honorary captain for us, or honorary coach, I think it was at one of the games. So, we have people stepping up, left and right, and I can never thank everybody enough, whether it's, just program or writing us a thank you note or an encouraging letter. I mean, it all works together, and it's a big operation. I didn't realize how many volunteers are on a Friday night as far as concessions and ticket takers and,
Tommy
chain
Brand.
gangs. Yeah, Booster Club has been phenomenal supporters of us. So it all works together, but there's always a need. I mean, football's been a great benefactor, but our facilities have been upgraded immensely the last 10 years with the Romanowski golf outing, the Al golf outing at Regina, and it's been a great asset for us because we're able to put new bleachers in. We're able to get a regulation soccer field now on the football field. So it's a big operation. We're very, very blessed to have everybody a part of it.
That football field looked better than anywhere else you played this year, bar none. I haven't been to Solon yet, but that's prescription turf, or not prescription, but the
We'll
fake
be
stuff.
there next year.
Yep.
Yeah, next fall.
Is that the
We're
first-
about out of time.
First game.
Alex O'Brien,
How many
go ahead, Bob.
seniors? I was going to say, how many seniors on this team?
We have 14.
And you want to talk about
Yeah.
the others?
Yeah, I mean, Fritz Wagner, like I said, Fritz is a great story. He came in, and he had some nagging injuries that kind of hampered him a little bit. We just sucked it up for his teammates and played down the stretch. And like I said, if you do have time, try to get that article. It was a great article on Regina football. He did a great job. It looked like he put a ton of time in on it. Justin is a lineman with us. Daniel Gaffey was an all-state player, defensive tackle. Kenyan Browning, another great story, a tight end last year that was injured. I had a pretty significant injury last year. Sacrificed, went and moved to tackle this year for us because he knew it would help us win a state championship, and he did. And he made that commitment to his teammates and had a great season for us. Who else? James Howe. Yeah, James Howe is a guy that actually moved up a grade because he's such a great student and young man, and one of those football players that just gives you everything he got and plays hard. Plays defensive end and receiver. It's quite a unique combination to have, but he's an undersized guy at the defensive end, but likes to catch the ball at receiver. But,
James Howe.
James Howe. And then Nick Dolezal.
Oh, sure.
Almost forgot
Yeah,
Nick.
oh, yeah.
Talk about special teams. 7 of 8 on field goals this year. Kicked a state record last year in the 2A championship game of a 42-yarder.
Left-footed.
Yeah, so phenomenal kicker. Our soccer program under Doc LaRue's been a great asset to the football program, so we're lucky to have him.
Yeah, no kidding. Coach, we haven't asked you. What are you thankful for this year?
Just the opportunity to be a part of these guys. I mean, it's been a great run, and now I get to spend some time with my family a little bit more. I mean, I get to spend time with my family, but I get 2 more hours a day than I have in the last few deals, and just my wife and my local family with my brothers and my mom and my in-laws and stuff. So we'll just spend a lot of time the next week just enjoying each other's company.
Yeah.
Alex O'Brien, what are you thankful for?
Just the opportunity. I'm like Matt said, we're doing this Christmas basket thing right now, and it's just it's definitely an eye opener. And so, just the opportunities the rest of us have been given, and the friends that I'm able to play football with every Friday night. So,
Alex Bakke?
Really thankful for my parents, the great teachers. I'm thankful for great opportunities in football this year, and I guess all throughout high school, and thankful for all the resources that are available to me to become a better person and a better athlete, and just thankful for my friends too.
That's great.
Yep.
I do want to ask you one last question, both of you guys. I want to talk about some of the Regal football players who graduated before you. We touched on it briefly earlier, but you've had teammates who helped you achieve state championship games who graduated last year and the year before. Talk about some of those guys who influenced you when you were 8th graders, 9th graders, even 10th graders. Who made a difference to you? Who stood out?
I think we had the assembly we had on Sunday, and we had it last year. Zach Reese went up to give his speech, All-State Center, and he concluded the speech with, juniors, it's your turn now. Get that three-peat. And I think that's kind of left. I think that kind of motivated all of us, and that, yeah. So I think he definitely made a huge impact on me.
Alex?
I just think seeing how good other players were ahead of you makes you good or even better. So like seeing George last year and like playing next
George
Seal and playing next to him, and he made me want to get better. And seeing other guys, like I remember when I was a freshman, Kevin Arnold, seeing him on defense and seeing how he went about his business, that was like, I don't know, he got after it and just makes you want to be a better player.
How did those older players relate to you as younger kids back then? What did they do to reach out to you and make a difference? Alex O'Brien.
Well, you're lifting with them every day because, I mean, as a school, you kind of lift together. But so it's just kind of their work ethic kind of inspired most of us, I think, to push yourself that extra 5 yards or make that last rep really worth it. So I think worth ethic alone from the older guys kind of reflected on us.
I think one of the benefits too at Regina is the K through 12. Actually, the 12 was in the same building, so you actually you have interaction through the hallways during different breaks. So our seniors will be exposed to the 2nd and 3rd graders. So like my son, who's in 4th grade, gets to walk by these guys periodically, and on game days when they get to wear their jerseys, he gets to look up to them and want to be like them someday and have that opportunity to do it down the road. So
Was it like that for you growing up?
very much so. I mean,
I'll never forget that feeling as a little kid
no,
to
that's
see
exactly
the guys.
right. I mean, I remember just standing alongside the field, wanting to be out there in the huddle, wondering what they were saying.
Yeah.
Just little things like that. And that's the great thing about the community that we have is that K through 12. There's a lot of siblings in there, but then there's also just a lot of family relationships. There's a lot of intertwining connections amongst all the different levels of grades.
It's what I think really makes it special to be part of the Regina family. Earl, you were going to say something.
I was just thinking that Balky, his father is a great guy.
Yeah.
Real.
Another Hawk, yeah.
Yeah, another Hawk.
Bud, any last words? We've got about 4 minutes left here.
No, I'm just so proud of what these guys did. As far as I'm concerned, it was the best season this year than the last 3. I take it over the second or the first.
Well,
This last one, because you sat there, you didn't realize how good these guys were going to be.
that's right. Or the coaches.
You had a grandson that had a state performance for us, didn't you? Help us out a little bit this year? Is that right?
But
Last year.
Oh, okay.
Jake, you mean?
Yeah.
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 But still, this team has to be, I just didn't, it was just a great year to go there and watch it.
I got to sit with Bud for a lot of games this year, and it was a great experience sharing that with you.
Are we giving them a disc?
Yes, absolutely. Bob?
Good thing about sitting by Bud, he doesn't get too excited. You ever notice that? But
No, I didn't.
One thing I'm thankful for is certainly what they've accomplished in a lot of ways, but the thing I'm most thankful for is that Marv Cook didn't go about 6 miles east.
Well, we won't even talk about that. Well, it's just, as I've said at the beginning of the show, been a pleasure to have you and the rest of this on here again. I'm going to list them. Mark Ward, Matt Straub, Mike Donovan, Ben Osterhaus, Alex O'Brien, and Alex Bakke. Guys, enjoy the senior year. What you've accomplished these last 3 years is simply amazing. We appreciate you taking time out of your very busy holiday schedule to join us here on Sports Opinion, where you can watch us every Wednesday night at 7 p.m., every Sunday night at 6 p.m. The show is repeated, and you can catch it on TV. You can catch it on my Facebook page anytime, or you can simply go to patv.tv, and they'll have the show up there. And look down here below, right there in front of Earl. You can always watch online at patv.tv as well. On behalf of Bob Boyd, Bud Supple, and the one and only Earl Murphy, I'm Dirk Keller, thanking you for watching this very special edition of Sports Opinion. And on behalf of these guys, one from Regina, we want to wish everybody out there a very happy, warm, and safe Thanksgiving holiday. Thanks for tuning in. Go Regals.
Go Regals.
Amen.
Amen.
There you go.